Hello everybody, this is Aryan, your coach and mentor, and welcome back to my YouTube channel on Aryan Tutorials. And in this particular video, I am back with your Macbeth revision series. I am going to cover up the entire Macbeth as to what are the important points, what are the important quotations which you need to remember, and I'll give you a summarized explanation of each and every scene. And late in my later videos, I'm also going to come up with the sample papers, the kind of question that council will ask you, and what are the points which you need to incorporate to get your full 5 mark or 10 mark in the answers. Okay, so without wasting time, let's get started. So to begin with, Macbeth Act 3 Scene 1. First of all, you all need to know what are the key events which is happening in this particular scene, and remember that this scene is extremely important. This is a very important scene, okay, where Banquo in his first speech itself, that is his soliloquy, he suspects Macbeth of having acquired the throne by foul means. So Banquo suspects Macbeth, and Macbeth also feels uneasy by witch's prophecy that Banquo shall be a father to a royal lineage, and therefore he inwardly plans to ambush him, where in this particular scene he declares Banquo as his chief guest for the upcoming banquet scene and tries to find out his whereabouts as to where is he going and whether his son Fleance is accompanying him or not, so that accordingly he can plan out the murder of both Banquo and Fleance and try to surpass or overthrow that witch's prophecy. Okay? So what are the key events of this particular scene? First of all, Banquo's soliloquy, that Banquo reflects things on Macbeth's rise to power, commenting that Macbeth has gained everything as promised by the witches. That is, he has become the king, he has become the Thane of Cawdor, and he already was the Thane of Glamis. However, he suspects Macbeth has played most foully. इसको अपने as a key point को आंसर में यूज करिएगा, आपका आंसर एलिवेट हो जाएगा. So he suspects Macbeth has played his most foully, that means used foul means to achieve his position. Banquo recalls, but despite his suspicion, Banquo still reflects on the witch's prophecy that even his descendants, that is Banquo's offsprings, his children, and not Macbeth's, would be the kings. So he shall be the father to a line of royal lineage. Use these phrases in your answer and it will elevate your answer writing pattern. Okay. Banquo hopes that the witch's prophecy about him, he is hopeful that the witch's prophecy about him might also come true, though he remains cautious since there was a sudden murder of King Duncan, so he remains cautious, at the same time suspicious and silent at the end. He does not reveal his internal desires. Banquo does not reveal his internal desires, that he too feels that somewhere the witch's prophecy will come true to his court as well. Second important event is Macbeth's banquet preparation. Macbeth warmly welcomes Banquo to the feast and requests his presence, though his hidden agenda, his hidden motive is to arrange Banquo's murder is concealed. He keeps it to himself and he does not even reveal it to Lady Macbeth. Okay, so this shows that once a hesitant murderer has now finally descended into becoming a ruthless tyrant, because in the previous scene, the scene of regicide where King Duncan was murdered, he required pressing or support of Lady Macbeth to commit the murder. He was a bit hesitant while murdering King Duncan. But in this particular scene, he does not even confronts his plan with Lady Macbeth and decides to go by his own plan without her consultation. It underscores that he indeed has become a ruthless tyrant, a ruthless king who in his insecurity, can stoop down to any level to secure his position. Okay. Banquo mentions he will ride. Now, Banquo fails to understand Macbeth's internal uh, desires, so he confides in Macbeth by saying that he is going to ride with his son Fleance, implying a potentially dangerous situation for both the father and son. Okay. Now, next key event is Macbeth's growing paranoia. He feels internally turmoiled and threatened. Okay, he feels internally turmoiled and threatened by Banquo's life, that as long as he is living and since he has been promised by witches a father to a noble lineage, he feels threatened by that, and he says that witches has placed a fruitless crown and a barren sceptre in the hands of Macbeth, where his lineage shall not bear the kingly position, and therefore he decides to get Banquo murdered in this particular scene, and later on we get to see that he has already hired murderers and manipulates them, convinces them to get Banquo murdered, and he manipulates the murderers by saying that it was Banquo who made their life miserable and not Macbeth. Okay, so after Banquo's departure, Macbeth reflects on his insecurities, how he feels threatened regarding Banquo. He fears Banquo's noble nature, his noble disposition and demeanor, and he has a potential to challenge his throne. Even though witches said that Banquo shall not be the king, but still he shall be the father to a royal offspring. Okay. So Macbeth's internal monologue, that is Macbeth's own soliloquy, it reveals that he murdered Duncan not for himself, but for Banquo's line of king, and therefore he contemplates and he says that witches have placed a fruitless crown, which causes Macbeth to feel even more insecure about his position, his throne, his crown. He becomes obsessed with eliminating. He is obsessed with eliminating, removing, killing Banquo and his descendants to secure his reign. What is reign? Reign is his kingly position. Lamenting means he feels sad or sorrow that his crown will be fruitless without a male heir. Okay. Next one. Now, Macbeth, in order to get Banquo murdered, has already hired the murderers, where Macbeth seeks out two murderers and manipulates them. This is very important, by reminding them of their misfortunes, which was caused by Banquo and not him. He argues that Banquo is their enemy, the murderer's enemy, and incites means instigates. Okay, instigates them to act. Instigate means bhadkana, to act against him, promising them rewards if they succeed. Macbeth reveals his plan that Banquo must die and his son Fleance must be killed too. So more than Banquo's death, what is more important is Fleance to die, so that he can ensure no threat to his reign, to his kingly position, and he can successfully pass on his lineage to his own heir and not Banquo's. Okay. Next one. Macbeth's confidence in the murder plot. He feels that he can overthrow the witch's prophecy, and little does he know that there is maybe that witch's prophecy arise from some supernatural hierarchy, and every time Macbeth cannot take control in his own hand. So Macbeth feels confident that he will indeed get Banquo and Fleance murder, but later on we come to know that Fleance escape allows the witches, a part of witch's prophecy, to remain true. So Macbeth instructs the murderers on how to carry out the plan, ensuring that the murder will appear seamless and without trace. So he says, he informs murderers that after they have killed Banquo and his sons, he requires a free of suspicion. He should not be suspected. Okay, he emphasizes that the task must be done on that particular night itself, on the night of banquet, and that Flean's death is just equally important to him as Banquo's is. And the closing part of the scene is that Macbeth reflects on the urgency of the task, stating that Banquo's death must occur tonight for him to secure his position to rule. He believes that Banquo's soul must find its way tonight, revealing his deep corruption, that he indeed has become a tyrant, a ruthless tyrant of his character. So he undergoes a deep change in character where he was hesitant and now he lacks that hesitation and he can stoop down to any level to eliminate his enemies, even if it comes to his close camaraderies, that is his peers and his friends. What are the key themes? Ambition and power. Macbeth's ambition grows more desperate. He has become more desperate in his act and he is unable to secure peace. He cannot sleep peacefully or cannot do anything soundly, knowing the fact that he shall not be able to uphold his kingly position as he feels threatened by Banquo's descendants. His paranoia about Banquo's progeny, what is progeny? His offsprings, that is his lineage, that is the prophecy of Banquo's descendant becoming kings, drives him to further violence, that is, he will get Banquo murdered. Macbeth's crown feels fruitless because he has no heir, which is one of the key reasons for his intense fear of Banquo's line. Second important theme is his guilt and paranoia. Macbeth is consumed by guilt for his past actions, that is Duncan's murder. He feels that he did not kill Duncan to let go of his kingly position in the hands of an unlineal, to let it go into an unlineal hand. That is, Macbeth's own descendant shall not bear the fruits of becoming the king, of him becoming the king. ठीक है, सो ही फील्स दैट मैंने डंकन को बैंको के लिए नहीं मारा था, बैंको के डिसेंडेंट्स के लिए नहीं मारा था, अपने लिए मारा था और वो इस बात से डरता है कि उसके बच्चों को उसका राजपाट सत्ता नहीं मिलेगा. Got it? And the lingering fear of Banquo's potential threat. His sense of insecurity is deepened by his inability to trust anyone, where in his monologue he reveals about Banquo being equally good of a camaraderie, being equally good of an opponent to Macbeth, and he fails to express his fears with anyone. He keeps it to himself. Along with that, there is a theme of fate versus free will. Fate, that witch's prophecy, govern Macbeth in this particular scene. Macbeth continues to struggle with the witch's prophecy. He believes that future is sealed, that Banquo's descendant will be kings, but he actively tries to alter it. He tries to overthrow the witch's prophecy by getting Banquo and Fleance murdered. Later on, we'll come to know that Fleance's escape allows a part of witch's prophecy to remain true. Take care. So his actions, that is his free will, his actions indicate his belief that fate can be controlled or manipulated, but little does he know that no, everything cannot be controlled, and that we come to know later in the scene when Fleance runs away from that particular scene where Banquo is murdered. Along with that, there is a theme of manipulation and deception. Macbeth manipulates the murderers, he incites murderers, instigates them using their hatred as a bait for Banquo to persuade them to carry out the killing. He also manipulates appearances, suggesting that they act on impulse and get rid of Banquo without considering the consequences. The idea of acting without thinking mirrors Macbeth's own moral descent as he becomes more ruthless in his pursuit of power. Along with that, there is an element of supernaturalism, even though not very active, but passively it is there and it is governing this particular scene as well. The witch's prophecies continue to influence Macbeth's action, even as he tries to override their predictions, means overthrow, sway their predictions, alter their predictions by resorting to violence. Macbeth's belief in fate and supernatural elements, that is the witch's prediction, The idea of a cursed lineage adds to the play themes of inevitability of doom. So this foreshadows that Macbeth's impending doom is awaited. Okay, he will meet his ultimate end. Now, character development of Macbeth in this particular scene. Macbeth's character shifts from being a hero to a tyrant, to a valiant soldier to that of a ruthless tyrant. His inner turmoil deepens and he becomes increasingly paranoid and manipulative in this particular scene. He is now willing to even betray his allies, his friends, his peers, and kill Banquo, a former friend, an old friend, in order to secure his throne. This highlights his moral decline and descent into madness. वो पागल हो गया है अपने पावर को सिक्योर करने के लिए, ठीक है. Banquo's character development till here. Banquo serves as a foil to Macbeth. He becomes a prey to Macbeth. He remains noble, unlike Macbeth, self-reflective and cautious about the witch's prophecy. Unlike Macbeth, who has given into witch's prophecy that whatever they prophesize, जो भी उन्होंने कहा, Macbeth is acting all the things according to witch's prophecy, unlike Banquo, who remains a little calm and poised. Even though he is reflective, he wonders that if Banquo has acquired the position, so will his descendants also. But he does not resort to murderers and ruthlessness like Macbeth. Okay. Banquo is suspicious. In the initial soliloquy, suspicious of Macbeth's rise to power and senses that Macbeth may have committed foul deeds to get where he is. He is hopeful. His hope for his descendants to become the kings emphasizes his contrasting moral integrity. He is a morally principled sort of a man compared to that of Macbeth's increasing corrupt actions. So contrast आ सकता है between Banquo and Macbeth's character from this particular scene. Okay. And the three murderers, Macbeth uses murderers as instruments, as a bait to carry out his dirty work. He appeals to their frustration and manipulates them to do his bidding, showcasing his ruthless leadership. Now, what are the important quotes that you need to remember? First is Banquo's soliloquy. Thou has it now, king, corder, glamis. You have become all three. You have become the king, the corder, and the glamis, as the weird women promised, and I fear you have played the most foully for it. Means you have acquired everything by wrong means. ठीक है, गलत तरीकों से तुमने खुद का पावर को acquire किया है. Next is Banquo's suspicion about Macbeth's method to gain the throne. Macbeth's reflection on his reign, on his kingly position. He contemplates, he wonders about his kingly position, his reign. To be thus is nothing but to be safely thus. So it is all useless to become this king if my heir will not bear this noble fruit, this kingly fruit. Okay. Macbeth's obsession with security and fear of losing the throne. Macbeth to murderers, the way he instigates, the way he manipulates, your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourself. So, Macbeth's calm and calculative manipulation of the murderer shows that he can stoop down to any level to eliminate his threat. Okay. Macbeth's final line, Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find tonight, showcases the urgency of getting Banquo and his son Fleance murdered. ठीक है? How important it is, how important is Banquo and Fleance's death to Macbeth. So Macbeth's cool-hearted and resolution means his decision to eliminate Banquo is highlighted in this particular line. So I hope that is clear. So that's all for Act 3, Scene 1. I'll see you in Act 3, Scene 2. And if you're liking my content, then please do like, share, subscribe, and share it with your friends so that more such quality content can be posted out and everyone can benefit from it. Have a great time preparing for your examination. Take care. Bye-bye.